Good evening, everybody. Um, I wanted to give you a chance. Let's just open this up a little bit before we really get going, um, and just think if there's anything. Let me put it on gallery a minute. If there's anything you would like to return to, because we've really covered a lot of ground and a lot of new ground in the last few weeks. So before going on, I just wanted to give you a chance. Is there something that you'd like to revisit, something that you'd like to go back to or move on in that direction? I like to do this once in a while, just so we don't get too far ahead of ourselves. So anybody, if you've got anything, just kind of wave and unmute yourself and put it out there. And if nobody says anything, then we'll just continue.
Hey, I think the implications of listening into the consciousnesses, the different systems in the body is really interesting. So not that I want to repeat, but going down that direction just seems interesting to me, I guess.
Okay, yeah, we only touched into that, didn't we? We didn't really go there. Okay, so does anybody else agree or want to go in that direction, particularly?
Stephen?
Everybody's pretty neutral, it looks like. Okay, anything else?
Stephen?
Yeah.
Hi. Yeah, I'd like to revisit the opening of the gates. I think you called it.
Yeah, were you here last time?
Yeah, I was.
Oh, okay, so you'd like to go into that again?
Yeah, if there's time, sure.
Yeah, that's really deep. Yeah, okay. Todd?
I've been enjoying the combination of standing and sitting stuff because I enjoy incorporating the sitting stuff into my regular meditations. So, yeah, I like that.
Okay, all right, got it. Okay, anything else? All right, well, we'll definitely be doing standing and sitting for a while. I mean, because that's, segueing more into sitting than at the beginning. We were only sitting for the last few minutes, and lately we've been doing it more. So we'll definitely do that. All right. Well, I think maybe we'll repeat the 7 gates next time or soon. We'll touch into the systems a little bit. Okay, and we're going to do a bit with elements today too. Okay, thank you all for your input. Okay. Oops, let me put it back to speaker. Sorry. There. Okay. Okay, let's just drop into our standing meditation posture. And as you know, there's sort of at least 2 two different ones. One standing mountain, where we're intentionally going down, and the other one is standing position 1, where it's more internally oriented. And you don't have to stand rigidly here. I mean, there is a posture for this, but the posture assumes that we're dropping into the meditation alignment. So if you're standing like this and you feel you need to just move a little bit, correct things a little bit, that's fine. And what we're wanting is the feeling of harmony, the feeling of really balance, where we're centered. We're not front, back, left, right. We're centered, and then we're kind of elongated a little bit. We're not compressed. We're kind of elongated, and then so there's a feeling. There's a physical feeling of that. Okay, now let's go ahead and bow to the directions. So first to the north. And keeping in mind your hands can be palms together or just slightly separate. East. To the south. And to the west. And so now, as I mentioned, the one sort of stretching, opening exercise that I don't think you can do seated very easily is trembling mountain. Simply because it's propelled by the legs. So we set the body in motion, and then we just release it. And we kind of drop into receiving, a receptive mode. So a yin mode. So the movement is yang and the stillness is yin. So we're sort of resting. The stillness of this is the receptiveness of it. And the motion is the active. So, I mean, in a way, we're sort of noticing. And then that just sort of not trying to control, that allows the body to move kind of more on its own. So we're not thinking, oh, I think I'll speed up now, or I'll slow down, or I'll do this or that. The mind is in a receptive mode. And then the body just is free to be active. So what we used to do is stop all at once. And that's a way to shock ourselves into an awareness of our chi. But we've done that enough. So over the next 30 seconds, just stop in the way you want to. So you can like slowly reduce the movements. We'll just sort of come to a stop. Okay, now, as the vibrations slow down and come to an end, now our receptiveness is left with the movement that's in the body, which is, it's not jiggling anymore, but the heart is beating. You can feel it in your chest, in your, maybe your hands, maybe your face. And the breath is going. And we're just resting in receiving this, all of this. And you may notice the tingling. Or you may notice heat. We're not doing anything. We're receiving. In order to receive, we are open. All right. Let's now move the attention up to the crown of the head and let the head move the head with the neck. Around. And then there are two very ancient movements they call the turtle and the crane. So, and the turtle starts with the chin back and sort of comes out of its shell. And then you make a kind of a circle with the chin. Down, up, and back. So you're circling with the chin. So that's the turtle. We'll come back to this later. Okay. And then the crane is the opposite, where we circle with the chin the other way. And this is, I guess this is the crane sort of flying. Okay. And then shoulders, the shoulders are taut one at a time. But then after a while, then you can do them both together. And then sort of the next one is that you can alternate. And we'll come back to these when we're sitting, but and you can do this fast if you want to. So any of those variations are fine. All right, and then opening the breath. So okay, so this is intentional. This is active. We're opening this gate, but at the same time, we're letting the body do it, and we're receiving. We're feeling it. So the intention is to allow the gate to open, actually. So we're intentionally, we're doing this arm motion to open, and we're allowing it to open. It's like we're kind of getting it started, and then we let go, and we allow it to complete what we've set into motion. We're not forcing anything. And then if you practice the 7 gates, which we have quite a bit, when you do this, there's kind of an echo or a ripple of opening all 7. Okay, this is what experience does. You open one and they all respond. Okay, and when we open, that's an in-breath. And then we bend at the waist, that's out-breath. So you can feel and imagine the whole stack of gates opening up just by doing the middle one, the 4th one. There may actually be a kind of a sound. Sound is part of Qigong. That the opening may be accompanied by various kinds of sounds. And sensations. Okay. Let's do a couple more. Reduce. All right, from here, let's go ahead into balancing heaven and earth. So now all the gates, in a way, all the gates are open. And so now we're in touch with the vertical. We're in touch with heaven and earth because all the gates are open. Now we're balancing. So this is, again, everything's active and passive. So if you can drop the attention down to the hips or thighs or the waist and let the body do the turning, and just the hands will go on their own. We're used to putting a lot of attention into our hands. We don't have to. Just drop the attention into the hips or the waist. The hands will do fine. So there's a dipping the knee, and then coming up. So the hand, flips around, but the motivation is from the legs. So it's as if the hands are like waves, the motion's like waves on the ocean, and then the body is the currents that are creating the waves. The waves are just a symptom of the current underneath. Okay. And let's reduce. And then have the hands, palms face each other. And we do this just to come into balance. We've been moving a lot. We want to find that vertical balance point. And our hands are in front of us. That's going to tip us forward. So I'm going to compensate for that. And then once you feel it, once you feel the stability there, then go ahead and then continue the cloud hands. So just be receptive to the experience. You've set it in motion. That's the active part. That's already done. Now you just rest. You kind of watch the body do this, and you feel it. Okay, let's reduce these. And find the center. And focus on the hands. And now we're going to turn the palms toward the body. This activates the internal chi. Just relax. Yeah, something's going on here. We don't really know what it is. But we can feel something's going on. Something good. Okay, and coming back to standing. And let's move the hips front and back. And then circle the hips. Okay. Now, in order to be balanced, we really have to be loose, not rigid. So we've pretty much loosened everything from the top down. So let's go ahead and shift your weight to one side, one foot. And then when you're ready, what we want is the same feeling that we get when we're double weighted, a feeling of stability. We want that same feeling with one foot. And it is the same, that when there's alignment, you can drop into it. It helps to bend the knee. And then if you want to add to this, whatever maybe you want to add. That's all fine. But the main thing is that feeling of being balanced. Now this is important because I really want you to save yourself from unnecessary falling on the ice or somewhere. You know that Wisconsin is the #1 state in the United States for death by falling per capita. It has to do with ice, I'm sure. It also has to do with the fact that we are a fairly old state in our population. So all the spiritual Qigong is great, and we can't neglect, the health of our body, just tied to the flexibility. Okay. All right, let's just do Trembling Mountain a little bit. Okay, very good, very good. Let's go ahead and bring up our stool or our cushion. And if you're used to meditating on a cushion, that's fine. Bring up your cushion. And now we're going to go into kind of another level of this. So since we've already loosened up a lot, now let's go to the turtle and the crane. Okay, so the turtle, you tuck the chin and make a circle with the chin and back. And do this with the whole upper body. So the chin is leading, and the whole body is following. And the neck is loose. Okay, go forward, exhale. So now we're opening our neck and our hips and waist, the whole thing. Okay, now let's reduce a little bit. And come into the center. And tuck the chin. And now the crane will go the other way. Same thing, but other way. And you can make this really big, really bend so that your bending forces the air out. Okay, and let's reduce this. So we're combining, the stretching out of the neck and the upper body, doing two things. Come into center. Okay, so we can do the same thing with circling. So if we circle the torso around the perineum, around that lowest point, make circles. And circle the head too. You don't want to get dizzy, but we're not holding our head still, is the point here. We're circling the torso and the head is loose. Okay, and let's reduce. Okay, and then go the other way just a little bit. Don't make yourself dizzy. Okay, and reduce. Okay, now let's circle the shoulders alternately, and also involve the whole upper body. So we're not just moving the shoulders now, we're moving the hips as well. And you can include the head and neck. And you can go either direction with the shoulders. So we're kind of doing it all at once, is the point. And this is looser than doing the shoulders at once. Doing them alternately sort of loosens up the whole body, okay? And reduce and come back. So the reason I'm showing you this is if you're doing sitting meditation, you're sitting for a while and you notice you're getting a little stiff, you can do the whole thing. Just even if you just do once, you can do head and neck, shoulders, and hips and waist, just with just a little move. And that can be very useful. And it can actually be very subtle. If you're sitting with a group and you don't want to move much, but you can move the whole upper body, head and neck, shoulders, chest, belly. You can do the whole thing just with a couple of, let's start with the shoulders and then let the head and neck go in the upper torso. And it's just like if you open the fourth gate, you're opening all the gates. So if you notice yourself being stiff or some pain when you're sitting, if you just do this once, it reminds the whole body to rest and come into alignment. So you don't have to do just the head and neck or just the shoulders or just, you can do it all in just this one little movement. And then that enables the belly to open and the chest to open. And then while we're meditating, we notice the body, and not the classic body scan, but just, so is my chin tucked? Are my eyes still? Is the chest open? Is the belly relaxed? Is the spine elongated? So just very quickly, just sort of scanning. And then we can just, even if we do this one little sort of shake, and then stretch the spine and tuck the head. just that one complex of movements can bring us right into alignment when we start to sag. Let's just do it once. So, we're going to sort of drop the head, move the shoulders, and the hips and the waist, and then stretch a little. And that one little takes a few seconds, and it brings in the whole body into alignment. Okay. So there are different teachings on the elements. One that I find useful is earth, water, fire or heat, air, space, and consciousness. Those 6 elements. And we move among these elements when we're practicing. And in a sense, they kind of start at the bottom and go up. Earth, water, fire, air, space, consciousness. But that's just a kind of a handle. It's not really true, but it just sort of feels like that. So let's imagine as we're sitting, let's create a really comfortable chair out of something like clouds, okay, that just completely supports this posture. So we can just completely relax into this cloud-like support. It's not an easy chair. It's not a lazy boy that allows us to just sag. It's very comfortable and very supportive at the same time. And this can be like clouds, rainbow clouds, mist, whatever it is for you. But the feeling is being completely held, completely supported. So there's actually a kind of floating quality. That the body's in this position, but it's sort of floating at the same time. Okay? It's supporting us completely. Another way this is taught is that we're floating in a warm sea under the surface, and we don't have to breathe. We're just being held and supported all around by this warm sea. And it extends infinitely in all directions. So if you've been under the sea, so there may be a little sunlight, playing in the water coming down, but for Buddhists, this is called sitting in the lap of the Buddha. Okay, so let's get a sense of the vastness of the sea. And then feel our mouth, our tongue. Feel the water. Feel the water in the eyes. Feel the water in the body. And this is the same as the water in the sea that's supporting us. And so just as there's life in the sea, there's life in the body in the form of the organ, all the organs. They're all living. They're all interconnected. And they're all made of water. So the body is composed of all these different systems. The lungs, the heart, stomach, and so forth. And all floating in this body. And they are supporting consciousness. This whole body is made up of all of these different elements and all of these different systems. Okay, but the sea is vast and boundless, and there are plenty of other bodies in it, billions. Just as the organ systems collectively make up this body, these bodies collectively make up human consciousness. Nowhere is anything separate. And so there's all these consciousnesses outside the body and inside the body. Each organ system has its own consciousness. It knows what to do and how to do it. Each cell in the body, made of water, has its tiny consciousness. The sense of self arises out of all these combinations, but is itself only a dream. It's just one molecule of this vast consciousness. Okay, let's check our posture. You can do your little movement if you want, just to loosen. Drop into receptive mode. Being very still, not disturbing anything. Being a small part of something much greater. And feeling the energy of that vastness present in this moment, in this body-mind. So this is cultivation of presence. The presence is nameless and timeless and boundless. This presence fully supports this body in this posture. And the presence is benevolent. Okay, and so as you're ready, you can begin just subtly moving a little, just to adjust the posture. You know what, just allow the body to move a little bit. And we're going to return completely into space and time. The body may have stiffened up a little bit. You may want to loosen it up a little. Okay, and just drop into just feeling, noticing. You may have a sense of kind of an expanded awareness, sense of the life force energy in the body. Okay, so let's get ready to clap our hands one time. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. And again here, we have the protocol for this, but you can also improvise. If you want to, stroke down the face, a little, go back, push back the hair. This is just an outline. Just a way of relaxing the face. Shake your hands a little if you want. But in a number of schools of Qigong, they do finish by tapping the kidneys. The kidneys are big, so it's kind of an area. It's not really a point. And then massaging that whole area with the backs of your hands. Okay. All right. I'll go ahead and stop the recording.